David most likely used her in multiple situations that caused her to be hurt and mistreated because in the song, Celeste was blaming herself for her wrongdoings. David was truly manipulating her emotions. Now I'm going to show you guys that alleged original clip.
I sound so stupid right now, but like I've been so selfish and I can't stop thinking about you and what I did and how it's affecting like everything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry.
We've got some seriously disturbing updates in the David case, and it just keeps getting worse. The autopsy report for Celeste is finally out, and now people are seeing exactly how this horrifying crime went down. On top of that, prosecutors dropped new evidence showing David allegedly tried to cover his tracks in shocking ways after she passed, which just makes the whole situation even more disturbing. And that's not all either. David's own brother has now spoken out about him, and what he said is honestly wild. There's a lot unfolding right now, and it's coming out fast. I've talked about David quite a bit before, but lately there wasn't much new to say. Until now. Everything is surfacing all at once, and it's a lot to take in. I'm not even going to spend too much time introducing him because most people already know exactly who he is at this point. David first blew up on TikTok, and it happened fast. I still remember when his music started going viral everywhere, climbing charts like crazy. His songs were even hitting Billboard, which caught a lot of attention. I remember seeing Romantic Homicide on the charts and thinking, who is this? It felt like he came out of nowhere. He wasn't just a one-time thing either. He had a few tracks that really took off and stayed buzzing online. But now, with everything that's come out, his past success doesn't really matter anymore. The focus has completely shifted, and people aren't looking at him the same way at all. I just wanted to quickly set the stage before getting deeper into everything happening with this case. A few months ago, as many people already know, a body was discovered in the back of David's Tesla. The victim was Celeste.
If you're still on the fence about David being a monster, just listen to what happened in court today. I'm also going to talk about the recently released autopsy for Celeste that further confirms in my mind that David is behind this. In court today, prosecutors said they went through David's phone and found a significant amount of, and I have to word this carefully, images of children you should never have. We don't know if these images included Celeste. It's not surprising considering David was allegedly communicating with Celeste since she was 9 or 10 years old.
At first, there was a lot of speculation online, with some people thinking maybe someone else had done it and was trying to set David up or use his car to shift the blame. That idea spread fast, and people were questioning everything. But the more people started digging, the story began to shift in a major way. Old photos started popping back up, and users online began connecting details that pointed to David having some kind of connection to Celeste. It didn't take long before things escalated, and now he has been arrested and is facing charges tied to the death of this young woman.
The autopsy was so much worse than what any of us could have imagined, and I think that's why the EMU was so mad. They couldn't even release this to the family. There were more chest and torso. There was also multiple abrasions on her right hand, possibly indicating that Celeste fought back. What I found extremely telling is that they removed 2 fingers from Celeste's left hand, the ring finger and the pinky finger. And you know the tattoo she had on that ring finger? David.
The situation quickly went from confusion to something much more serious. One of the most disturbing developments to come out of this case involves what prosecutors say they found during the investigation. Reports claim they uncovered illegal material involving minors, and a huge amount of it. The scale alone shocked people, because we're not talking about something small here. It's described as massive in size, which raised even more concern. When this detail hit the internet, it spread like wildfire. People across social media started reacting, questioning how something like this could happen and why cases like this often involve such large amounts. It's a deeply unsettling part of an already disturbing situation, and it's added even more intensity to the public reaction around this case. One post about this situation reportedly pulled in around 10 million views, which shows just how massive the reaction has been. People online are seriously disturbed, and it's not hard to see why. The outrage has been loud, constant, and everywhere you look, people are talking about it. Then things got even more intense when David's brother allegedly spoke out. On his account, he posted, "All pedophiles and rapists should die, period." And people quickly noticed that it was liked by David and others, which only made things more confusing and controversial. That post alone spread like crazy across Twitter, pulling in attention from all sides. Reactions were all over the place. Some people said they respected his brother for speaking so strongly, especially considering who he's related to. Others started speculating about what their relationship might have been like behind the scenes. There were claims that someone capable of the actions David is accused of could have also been cruel or harsh toward people close to him, including his own family. It sparked a lot of debate, with people trying to piece together a bigger picture. At the same time, nobody really knows the full truth about their relationship. Maybe they got along, maybe they didn't. There's no clear answer right now. But the fact that his brother made such a direct and strong statement definitely caught people's attention and added another layer to an already intense situation. On top of that, several big YouTubers have started covering the case, bringing even more eyes to it.
He's officially cooked. Like, he was cooked before, but not only is he a child murderer, he's a child chomo, all of these different things, man. Like, the only way he can have a pleasant time in prison is he would have to be in protective custody forever. But look at Tory Lanez, you know? He was high status and eventually they let him out of general pop and he got stabbed up a bunch of times.
New details keep coming out, and a lot of them are deeply disturbing. And when it comes to the reports about illegal material involving minors, people online have made it very clear where they stand. It's something that's widely condemned, and it's only added to the outrage surrounding this case. Anyone who has that kind of illegal material on their phone is seen as a terrible person, and that's why the reaction has been so intense. But when you start looking at the details of what he's accused of doing and the reasons being discussed, it just gets more and more disturbing. Every single update feels worse than the last, like people keep thinking it can't get any darker, and then somehow it does. Before getting into the autopsy report and everything tied to that, there's something else people have been talking about a lot. A huge conversation online right now is about what could happen to him in jail. Many people already know that individuals charged with crimes involving minors or similar serious offenses often face difficult conditions while incarcerated. That topic has been all over social media, with people speculating non-stop. There are countless posts and videos claiming that harsh things could happen to him behind bars. But the reality is a bit more complicated. Prison systems don't just operate on rumors or online opinions. In many cases, inmates who are at higher risk, whether because of the nature of their charges or public attention, can be placed in protective custody. That means they're separated from the general population for safety reasons.
David allegedly recorded a voicemail and phone call between him and Celeste, and that's what he used. The user Luminous Twilight on one of the Reddit groups about David says the following. David couldn't disclose that he used voicemail recordings in the song for obvious reasons. David's deleted SoundCloud had first versions of the tracks that were not fully released before his Withered album, and without any changes or tweaks in the songs, you can clearly hear Celeste's voice. Despite this, he didn't say or tried not to disclose who the person was for obvious reasons and not because of some stupid copyright excuse. The songs share similar file types, which suggests that he recorded those voicemails between early October 2024 and late November 2024, when him and Celeste were going through heartbreak. This was also during the time that he was actively making and shaping songs for his new album.
At the same time, there are also situations where individuals are housed with others who have committed similar types of offenses. Policies can vary depending on the facility, the case, and security assessments. So while people online keep making bold claims about what will happen, the truth is nobody outside the system really knows exactly how it will play out in his specific situation. Now this is where things take a really disturbing turn. The autopsy details are being compared to one of his past videos, where he hired an animation team to create a specific storyline. What makes it worse is that several of those animators have now spoken out, saying he was the one pushing that exact concept the whole time. They thought they were working on some cool anime-style project, but looking back, people are saying it may have reflected something much darker that was going on in his mind. The animation itself has been described as deeply unsettling, not because of the artists, but because of the ideas behind it, and how closely it's now being compared to real events. It's not something most people can even sit through comfortably. There's a strange, uncomfortable tone to it that many viewers have pointed out, calling it eerie and hard to watch. One of the biggest questions people keep asking is about motive. What actually led to all of this? There were a lot of theories early on. One that spread online claimed she had been at a party, that something went wrong, and that panic led to everything that followed. That version of events got a lot of attention at the time. But now that theory doesn't seem to line up with what's being presented. According to current reports, prosecutors are arguing a very different narrative. They claim there is evidence suggesting she may have threatened to go to authorities about a past relationship and alleged actions, and that this led to a sudden and violent escalation.
And when he's performing that song, Afterlife, he is crying. And again, that would have been 4 days after he allegedly killed Celeste. Here he is while he's performing that song, and take a look at the bandana. And here's a picture of him and allegedly Celeste. He's wearing either the same matching bandana, or I wouldn't be surprised if it was her bandana. The whole thing is just sickening, and so much more is going to come out.
That's the version being discussed right now, and it's adding another heavy layer to an already shocking case. Of course, nothing is 100% confirmed yet because details keep changing as the case develops. That said, the current version being discussed does seem believable to a lot of people, which is why it's gaining so much attention right now. Another theory spreading online builds off that same idea. People are saying that during an argument, she may have threatened to expose what had happened, and that's when everything escalated into this horrific situation. It's a claim that's been repeated a lot across platforms, especially on Twitter and TikTok, where users are trying to piece everything together. Some are even going as far as saying he was so afraid of losing his career or being publicly exposed that he reacted in the worst possible way. That take has been everywhere, but it's important to remember these are still theories, not confirmed facts. The full truth is something that will likely come out through the court process, not social media speculation. At the same time, there are parts of this that people find confusing. For example, some are questioning why he would publicly interact with her, like appearing together on live streams or having visible connections if he was so worried about anything coming out. Others are pointing to online communities where people claim there were already rumors and messages circulating. It raises a lot of questions about how something like this could stay under the radar for so long, especially if there were signs being discussed in certain circles. I mean, that idea does make some sense when you think about it. If something like this had come out publicly, it definitely could have damaged his career in a major way. Would it have completely ended everything? That's harder to say. There are cases where public figures have faced serious backlash and still managed to keep going, which a lot of people find frustrating. But even then, this situation would have brought massive criticism and likely changed how people saw him overnight. So yeah, as a possible motive, some people think fear of exposure could have played a role. It's one of those theories that keeps coming up because, on the surface, it connects with how fast public opinion can turn. Still, it's important to remember that motives like this are being discussed from the outside, and the full picture isn't confirmed yet. There's also been conversation around how fans react to situations like this. Some people say reactions can get intense because of parasocial connections, but at the same time, it's not that simple. When someone's music or content is part of your daily life, news like this can feel genuinely shocking, even if you don't know them personally. That reaction is something a lot of people are experiencing right now. What really stands out to many people is how normal everything seemed on the surface. His posts, his TikToks, the way he acted publicly, it all came across as casual and carefree. He was joking around, performing, and just blending in like nothing was wrong. That contrast is what's throwing so many people off. It's hard for some to understand how someone could appear so ordinary online while being tied to something this serious behind the scenes. I'm just being real. I don't get it at all. It's hard to understand how someone could act so normal on the outside while something this serious is happening behind the scenes. Even just the idea of living with that kind of pressure, wondering if you might get caught at any moment, would be overwhelming for most people. Yet somehow, everything he showed publicly looked completely abichna, like nothing was wrong. That contrast is what's making so many people uneasy. It raises a bigger question about how someone can present one version of themselves to the world while allegedly being involved in something so dark. Whether guilty or not, that level of separation between public behavior and private reality is unsettling to think about. It doesn't line up with how most people expect someone to act under that kind of weight. Another detail that's been discussed is that authorities haven't publicly identified the exact object involved, which leaves a lot of unknowns. What is clear, though, is that the situation itself is incredibly tragic. Many people believe she likely tried to defend herself, and that possibility has really affected how people are processing this. The idea that her final moments may have been filled with fear is something that's deeply upsetting to hear, At the same time, there's been a wave of screenshots and alleged messages circulating online. It's important to be careful with those, because not everything shared during situations like this turns out to be real. There have already been cases where people created fake posts just to gain attention, so it's smart to question what's actually verified. One message that's been widely shared shows her saying, "My parents are annoying, like they won't let me come to your concert," and a reply that says, "Don't worry, I'll get it worked out." People have been analyzing that interaction, suggesting it shows how he may have built trust or influence. But again, without full confirmation, it's something to approach carefully while the facts continue to come out. That part of the situation is just deeply upsetting. The idea that he may have known how to talk to her, gain her trust, and influence her in that way is something people find very disturbing. It's the kind of behavior that gets discussed a lot in cases like this, and it's why so many are expressing sympathy for her. A lot of people are saying the same thing. She deserved better, and they want to see justice for Celeste. And then there's another claim that's been spreading, which has really shocked people. Allegedly, and this is important to say because things like this are hard to fully verify, there are discussions about a voicemail or phone recording being used right after the incident. According to what's been shared online, the day after everything happened, he performed at a concert and included a recording of a girl's voice as part of the intro. People who have heard it say it sounds very similar to Celeste, which has raised a lot of concern. Some are also connecting this to one of his songs, Celeste, pointing out specific parts where a female voice says, "I love you, baby." Because of the title and the voice itself, people are speculating that it could be her. That connection has been heavily debated, especially since the voice in the track sounds young, which adds another layer to the conversation. There are also clips circulating where Celeste is heard speaking, and listeners have been comparing those to the alleged voicemail. Many say the voices sound alike, but again, none of this has been officially confirmed. It's one of those details that's getting a lot of attention, but still needs to be approached carefully while verified information continues to come out. Some people say it could all just be a wild coincidence, but a lot of others aren't buying that at all. They're convinced the voice sounds way too similar, and that's why this theory has taken off so quickly. It's led to a lot of strong reactions, with people calling the situation unsettling and questioning how deep this all really goes. There's also been a wave of discussion about whether he was leaving behind clues on purpose. People keep pointing to different things, like the animation project, alleged Discord messages, and even certain profile choices, and wondering if any of it meant something more. It's one of those ideas that keeps getting repeated because of how strange everything seems when you line it up. One detail that's come up a lot is the use of Hello Kitty imagery. People have said that Celeste liked Hello Kitty, and they've connected that to him using similar visuals publicly. That's made some viewers uncomfortable, especially since they're trying to understand if there was any deeper meaning behind it or if it's being overanalyzed. Right now, it's still speculation, but it's definitely something people keep bringing up. Overall, a lot of these conversations come back to the same question. Was any of this intentional, or are people trying to connect dots that aren't fully proven? Some think it points to fixation, while others believe it could be coincidence or misinterpretation. Without confirmed evidence, it's difficult to say for sure, but it does show how closely people are examining every detail tied to this case. I really don't get it, because you would think if someone did something this serious, the last thing they'd want is attention that could connect them back to it. Most people would try to stay as far away from anything suspicious as possible. But in this situation, people feel like it's been the complete opposite, and that's what's making it even more confusing and unsettling. Some are saying it's almost like there were signs everywhere, like things that, looking back, people are now questioning. Whether that actually means anything or not is still unclear, but it's something that keeps coming up in conversations. Others believe it could point to an unhealthy fixation, especially when you combine it with everything else that's been reported. And then when you add in what investigators claim was found on his phone, it just makes the entire situation even more disturbing. I remember before, when people were still trying to understand what happened, there was a lot of hope that she didn't suffer. Even though nobody could know for sure at the time, people were wishing that her final moments weren't filled with pain. Now, with more details coming out, it's hitting even harder emotionally. The reality of the situation is just incredibly sad, especially considering how young she was. This whole case has been difficult to follow, and every update seems heavier than the last. It's one of those stories that sticks with people because of how tragic it is and how many questions are still left unanswered. Rest in peace, Celeste. So many people are thinking about her and hoping justice is fully served. If you've been following this case, share your thoughts below. I want to know what you think about everything that's come out. And if you want more updates like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this so more people can stay informed.